I think there's room for a junior heavyweight or cruiserweight division in a big company like WWE. You could build so many storylines with the cruiserweights or the junior heavyweights, whatever you want to call them, separate, you know, and keep the size thing, and those would be the guys that are going to be my acrobats if I'm going to have acrobats, and the guys like the size of McIntyre and Roman and those guys are going to do your more what you might call old school or ground based, uh, matches. But hey, what do I know?
Well, it's an interesting thing to me now, particularly in this era. When you were wrestling and I was coming up, we obviously all understood at that time that WWF was the land of the giants. And we all know, whether anyone's ever been able to hear Vince McMahon say those words, we know what his preferences are in terms of size. And
Sure.
so anytime they've gone with the light heavyweight or the cruiserweight championship, there's a little fanfare at the start and he loses. He lost interest. This wasn't his thing. But now we're in an era where you see Triple H has not been hesitant to use and use fairly well, even if Ciampa did not reach his full potential in his own mind.
Sure.
Guys of significantly smaller stature than guys who would typically have gotten a push under Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
And you're
No,
now
you're
you're now also under the ownership of TKO with UFC and a million different weight classes. And a lot of these different weight classes with the right guy in charge or as the champion, they draw on pay-per-view. So
yes.
you've got a sister company that is showing you that people will pay to see guys who are not heavyweights. There is no reason. And I know he gave it a little bit of a try with the cruiserweight tournament that went really well and they had the title again, but it was still Vince McMahon's company at that time. And ultimately it ended up going nowhere. I would like to see them give it another shot in this era.
Yeah, I would. Well, during my the 60s and 70s, NWA Junior Heavyweight Championship, the Heavyweight Championship, the Tag Team title, the Women's title. Uh, Great workers had that Junior Heavyweight title. My wrestling cousin, Roger Kirby, Danny Hodge, Hiro Matsuda, Kenny Mantell. My God, I had an opportunity to work with all those guys. And, well, we can go back to when I had HWA. How many times have you heard me say, you could have taken my cruiserweights in mass and created a division for them on Raw or SmackDown, and they wouldn't have missed a beat. But again, they're not huge. No, they are not. But you know what? Neither was Shawn Michaels. Neither was Chris Benoit. Neither was Dean Malenko. But neither is Rey Mysterio, but they damn sure could work their butts off. So to me, that's the bottom line. Not because I said so, but because it's just the bottom line.
Well, hopefully that's something they'll take under advisement sooner rather than later,
Yeah.
because multiple divisions in UFC works just fine.